What if I told you that the most attractive thing you could ever say to a woman isn't a compliment? It's not, "You're beautiful." It's not, "You're perfect." It's not even, "I love you." It's the sentence that makes her pause. The one that's calm, unexpected, and quietly powerful. The one that flips the script not because it flatters her, but because it reveals something rare in you. In this video, we'll go deep into 6 simple phrases, not pickup lines, not tricks, but Stoic expressions of grounded energy that change the emotional balance of any conversation. One of them, it's the line that sounds like this: "I don't know if you can handle me." Say that with calm conviction and watch her entire body language shift. Because when you speak from a place of clarity, a place rooted in self-respect, you don't chase connection, you attract it. And here's the truth: no one tells you women aren't drawn to men who try to impress them. They're drawn to the ones who make them feel emotionally seen without trying at all. So, if you've ever felt overlooked, if you've been tired of trying too hard and still feeling invisible, this video isn't just for you. It's about you. This is Stoicism in love. This is the energy that speaks before your words ever land. Hit subscribe, comment calm power below, and stay until the end. Because once you understand what these phrases really do, you won't need to chase anyone again. Let's begin. Part 1. The Quiet Language of Power. Why Stoic Men Speak Differently. In a world where people shout to be heard, the man who speaks with calm conviction stands apart. There's something magnetic, even disarming, about a man who doesn't talk to impress, but speaks to express something deeper. And when it comes to relationships, to attraction, to connection, that difference is everything. Most men don't understand this. They think communication is about volume, about saying more, louder, and faster. They believe attraction comes from performance, the right compliments, the right tone, the right smile at the right time. But the truth, women aren't drawn to what's loud. They're drawn to what's real. And real doesn't chase attention. Real doesn't over-explain. Real doesn't rush. Real is still. This is the energy of Stoicism applied to love. And when a man embodies this, he doesn't need pickup lines. He doesn't need to prove anything. He simply speaks, and the room leans in. Let's be clear. We're not talking about manipulation. We're not selling magic words. These aren't tricks. What we're exploring here is presence, and the way presence shapes words into something unforgettable. When a man with no need to impress says something like, "You have a unique way about you," I like that. It lands differently. Why? Because he's not trying to get a reaction. He's offering recognition. He's not showering praise. He's observing and choosing to name what he sees. Most women are used to compliments. They hear them daily, often hollow, often lazy. "You're beautiful." "You're so hot." "You look amazing tonight." It's not that they dislike hearing those things, but over time, these phrases become background noise, predictable, flat. But when you say something that isn't about her appearance, when you comment on how she carries herself, on the energy she brings into a room, or how she talks about something she cares about, it shakes something loose in her mind. Why? Because so few people notice those things. Even fewer name them. And almost no one says it without wanting something in return. That's the real power behind what we're exploring. When a Stoic man speaks, a man grounded in who he is, his words feel like discoveries, not strategies. He's not building attraction, he's reflecting it. He's not pursuing approval, he's revealing attention. Let's take that phrase again. You have a unique way about you. I like that. Used at the right moment, it lingers, it opens a loop in her mind. She starts wondering, what did he see? What does he mean? Was it the way I laughed, the way I shared that story, the way I looked at him when I said that last thing? That wondering creates a kind of emotional gravity, not because the phrase was poetic, but because it was honest, unexpected, and understated. There's a paradox in all of this. The less you say, the more she thinks. The less you explain, the more she feels. The less you try, the more tension builds, the right kind of tension, respectful, curious, mature. That's what Stoicism offers men in love. It's not silence for silence's sake. It's the discipline of speech, the refusal to speak out of fear, out of insecurity, or out of desperation. It's the practice of holding space and letting your presence do more than your persuasion ever could. So if you want to stand out, don't speak louder. Speak truer. Don't memorize lines. Develop clarity. Don't flatter to gain. Observe to connect. Because when you learn to speak from this still, grounded place where words carry meaning, not motive, everything changes. You don't just get attention, you get remembered. And in a world addicted to noise, becoming unforgettable is the greatest form of quiet power a man can possess. Part 2. From approval to standard. The Stoic shift in attraction. There's a moment in every man's journey when something quietly but permanently changes. He stops asking, "How do I get her to like me?" and starts asking, "Is she the kind of woman I want to build with?" That moment isn't loud. It doesn't come with some triumphant realization. It slips in during an ordinary conversation, the kind where you're no longer performing, just observing. The kind where you're not trying to prove anything, but instead measuring what's in front of you with calm clarity. And then you say it. I like women who know what they want. You don't say it to flatter. You say it because it's true. Because something in the way she spoke, the way she decided, the way she carried herself revealed a strength that resonated with your own. And so, you name it. That's not a compliment. That's a standard. And in that moment, without raising your voice or raising your eyebrows, the entire dynamic between you and her shifts, subtly, instinctively, powerfully. You're no longer seeking her approval. You're revealing what earns yours. This is where most men struggle. They enter interactions with a hidden hope of being liked. They shape themselves like water to the woman in front of them. Agreeable, nice, non-threatening, hoping kindness will be rewarded with connection. But Stoicism teaches us something deeper. To be kind without being compliant, to be open without being eager, to be warm without being desperate. When a man says, I like women who know what they want. From a place of quiet confidence, he introduces an emotional frame most women never get to stand in. She's no longer evaluating him. She's wondering if she meets his measure. And it's not because he said anything provocative, it's because the energy behind the words is rooted, solid, unapologetic. That sentence says so much without shouting. It says, I don't chase flattery. I'm not moved by charm alone. I'm looking for something built on clarity. And here's the thing. Women respect men who have clarity, not just in words, but in presence. A man who knows what he wants is rare. A man who says it without expecting applause is unforgettable. It's attractive, not in the loud, flashy way, but in the magnetic way that creates curiosity and raises the stakes. She starts reflecting inward. Am I someone who really knows what I want? Do I come across as decisive, clear-grounded? That self-questioning isn't insecurity, it's investment, emotional investment. The very thing that turns casual conversation into subtle connection, and that connection deepens when you're consistent. Because saying I like women who know what they want only works if you live it. If she becomes indecisive and you chase her anyway, your words collapse. But if you hold your standard, remain calm in the face of her emotional tests. Stay anchored to your values without lecturing or justifying she feels that. She sees that you weren't just saying it, you meant it. That's where true masculine energy resides, not in dominance, but in discernment. Not in control of her, but control of yourself. Because when a woman meets a man who doesn't fold, doesn't follow, and doesn't need to be liked, she leans in. Not because he pushed, but because he pulled away from performance. So, remember this. You don't need to speak more to be heard. You don't need to prove your value. You just need to hold it. With stillness, with warmth, with unwavering presence. Say less, mean more. And when the moment is right, say the words. I like women who know what they want. Then say nothing else. Let her feel the shift. Let her decide if she belongs in your gravity. Because when you stop auditioning, you start leading. And the right kind of woman, she'll follow clarity, not charisma. Part 3. Seeing beyond the surface, the rare power of noticing her essence. There are two kinds of compliments in this world, the kind that glides across the surface, and the kind that leaves a mark. The first is easy. Any man can tell a woman she's beautiful, that she has nice eyes, that she looks amazing in that dress. It's instant, obvious, and let's be honest, often forgettable. But the second type of compliment requires something far more rare. Presence. It takes a different kind of man to see beyond the smile, beyond the makeup, beyond the rhythm of small talk, to catch something she didn't even realize she was showing, and then, without theatrics, to name it with quiet clarity. That's what I like most about you. You're not listing qualities. You're reflecting her back to herself through your eyes. This is where Stoicism becomes a subtle art. Because Stoic men are not emotionally numb. They are emotionally precise. They notice without attachment. They observe without need. They speak not to impress, but to express something true. And truth is unforgettable. Now, here's what most men get wrong. They confuse emotional depth with emotional performance. They believe if they open up too much, they'll lose their edge. Or worse, they try to fake depth with poetic words and exaggerated praise. But a woman doesn't remember a compliment because it was dramatic. She remembers it because it was earned. Because it came at a moment when she wasn't trying to be impressive. She was just being herself. Maybe she was talking about her job, but her voice lit up when she mentioned helping someone. Maybe she shared a childhood memory, something that caught you off guard with how honest it felt. Maybe she got animated about a passion, her eyes dancing with energy, and for a second, you saw who she really is beneath all the masks the world taught her to wear. And then you say it. You look at her calm, grounded, sincere, and say, "That's what I like most about you." That sentence is not a tactic. It's a mirror. And when you hold that mirror with quiet presence, something powerful happens. She sees herself through your perception, not the image she curates, not the beauty she presents, but the essence she forgot people could still notice. And that leaves an imprint. You're no longer just a guy she met. You become the man who saw her. You didn't flatter, you witnessed. You didn't chase, you paid attention. And in a world full of noise, that silence between your words says more than any monologue ever could. Let's be honest. Most women rarely feel seen for their emotional signature. They're used to being appreciated for their appearance, not their authenticity. And the moment they realize you've noticed something specific and real, they lean in, emotionally, subconsciously, even physically. Why? Because it's safe, because it's rare, because it tells her you're not just here for attention, you're here for connection. But there's a deeper lesson here. Don't use this phrase unless you mean it. It has power because it's real, and its impact comes not from the words themselves, but from the timing, tone, and truth behind them. Say it too early and it feels hollow. Say it too often and it loses its edge. Say it too dramatically and it feels like performance. But say it in the right moment, with grounded stillness, when you've truly seen something in her, and she will carry that sentence with her long after the conversation ends. So many men wonder how to stand out, how to be memorable, how to create emotional gravity. It starts with the simplest shift. See her, not just the curated version, but the real one. Then name what's rare, not what's obvious. And when the moment feels right, say it gently, slowly, like you're discovering the truth in real time. That's what I like most about you. Then stop. Let the silence stretch. Let her feel the weight of being seen, not judged, not evaluated, but quietly understood. That moment, she won't forget it, and she won't forget you. Part 4. The Quiet Challenge. Why Mystery and Boundaries Spark True Desire. There are men who try to be easy to like, easy to impress, easy to figure out. And then there's you. You don't speak to win favor. You don't overshare to seek validation. You don't lay yourself open at the first sign of interest. You let her wonder. And one sentence said, in the right moment, with the right presence, flips the entire dynamic between you and her. I don't know if you can handle me. It's not arrogance. It's not bravado. It's a soft boundary wrapped in calm confidence. And it creates something most men never access: emotional gravity. Let's break this down. The average man gives himself away too quickly. One compliment, one glance, one flirtatious text, and he's all in, revealing too much, trying too hard, melting in the face of charm. Why? Because his self-worth is tied to being wanted, not to being selective. But a man who speaks from discipline instead of desperation, that man doesn't collapse under female attention. He stands still and lets her approach. When you say, I don't know if you can handle me, you're doing more than being playful. You're inviting her into a world with standards, a world where you are not the prize she wins. She is the one who must prove she's ready for depth. That sentence is a door. It suggests complexity, intensity, a kind of emotional fire that can't be touched by everyone. You're not saying, I'm difficult. You're saying, there's more to me than meets the eye, and not everyone is built for it. And when delivered with calm, relaxed energy, this phrase ignites something ancient inside her. Challenge, not in a manipulative way, but in a magnetic way. Because here's what few people understand. Real women don't want easy. They want earned. They don't want a man who gives everything away. They want to uncover, discover, feel like they've reached something rare. That's what your words offer. Not answers, but questions. Not approval, but possibility. She starts asking herself, what does he mean? What about him might be too much for me? Is it his ambition, his intensity, his standards, his independence? The more she asks, the more invested she becomes. And this is the power of Stoic mystery, not silence that hides insecurity, but stillness that hints at something deeper. Now, here's the key: you must live the message. Don't say, I don't know if you can handle me, if you collapse at the first sign of flirtation. Don't claim complexity and then beg for attention. Stand in your truth. Let your energy match your words. Be the man whose emotional world is not open to just anyone, whose time, attention, and presence must be earned, not won by default. Because this isn't about being hard to get. It's about being hard to forget. When you hold your ground with warmth, not walls, you stop being just another option. You become an experience. You're not memorable because you tried to be. You're memorable because you didn't try at all. So next time she leans in with too much confidence or thinks she's figured you out, let your eyes meet hers. Smile slightly and say it like you're just realizing the truth. I don't know if you can handle me. Then go quiet. Let the pause stretch. Let her lean forward, not just physically, but emotionally. Because now, she's not playing a game anymore. She's stepping into the unknown. And the man who lives in the unknown, who embraces it, who embodies it, is the man she can't stop thinking about. Not because of what he said, but because of everything he didn't. Part 5. Selective, not defensive, the silent strength of I'm not that easy. There's a moment in every meaningful connection when someone expects you to fold. Maybe she's testing your confidence. Maybe she's used to men reacting to her charm. Maybe she thinks you'll lean in too quickly because that's what everyone else does. But you don't. Instead, you smile gently, pause for a moment, and say, "I'm not that easy." Not with anger, not with sarcasm, but with calm certainty. And suddenly, the energy in the room changes, because you just revealed something far more attractive than neediness or flattery. You revealed standards. Let's get something clear. This phrase isn't a game. It's not about pretending to be unavailable or playing hard to get. It's about expressing without ego that your presence has value, and that value isn't handed out for free. Most men don't realize how quickly they give themselves away. One compliment from a woman, one smile, one flirtatious move, and suddenly they're wide open, trying, chasing, proving, explaining. But here's the truth. When you give access without effort, you reduce your worth not because you aren't worthy, but because you're communicating you have no filter. And when everything is allowed in, nothing feels earned. But when a man, grounded in his self-worth, says, "I'm not that easy," with soft confidence, he communicates something rare in the modern dating world. He has boundaries, not walls, not arrogance, but an inner sense of dignity, and that is powerful. Because now, you're no longer reacting to her. You're responding from you. You're no longer waiting to be chosen. You've already chosen yourself. This energy speaks before your words even land. It tells her, "I value myself. I don't melt for charm alone. My attention is earned, not automatic." And here's what happens next. She feels the shift. She starts wondering, why isn't he folding like everyone else? What makes him so sure of himself? Is he different? That wondering is not confusion. It's attraction. Because what you just introduced isn't resistance. It's emotional depth. When you say, "I'm not that easy," you're not pushing her away. You're inviting her to rise to meet you at a higher level. You're gently implying that beauty alone isn't enough, that you're looking for presence, honesty, effort, and she knows, consciously or not, that's rare. Because most men don't speak like this. They don't slow things down. They rush. They seek approval. They mirror her energy instead of radiating their own. But the Stoic man doesn't need a performance. He needs presence. He doesn't need admiration. He needs authenticity. And when a woman senses that, her curiosity deepens. Not because she was denied something, but because she saw that you don't need her interest to feel whole. That's the paradox. The man who doesn't chase becomes the one she wants to follow. But let's be clear, this phrase only works if it's true. You can't say "I'm not that easy" and then spend the next hour trying to impress her. You can't draw a line and then backpedal because she raises an eyebrow. This phrase only works if it's backed by behavior, by calm, by consistency, because that's what Stoicism in love looks like, not cold distance, but quiet control. You've done the work. You've built your values. You've lived through enough to know that attention isn't affection, and that not every connection is worth pursuing. So When she leans in a little too sure of herself, you lean back, you smile, and you say it with warmth, not pride. I'm not that easy. Then say nothing else. Let the words settle. Let the silence do the work. Because in that moment, you're not just protecting your energy, you're revealing your essence. The man who doesn't give himself away too easily isn't trying to be difficult. He's just trying to be real. And in a world that's forgotten how to slow down and feel what's true, that kind of man, he's unforgettable.